Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning back into Nick and Jenny Have Nothing to Say, where we do a lot of talking, but say nothing overall. Will you learn a lot of things from these episodes? Probably not. But we just hope it's goofy little conversation, banter between Jenny and I, where...
Between Nick and himself?
Between me and myself. I'm a dumbass. Nah, I'm the
God.
smartest in the world. So...
On what, Mars?
Venus.
Okay.
No, Jupiter. Sorry.
Boys go to Jupiter to get more stupider. That could be an episode. Maybe in the future.
Why do boys go to Jupiter?
Because they're stupider.
But what's at Jupiter makes you stupid?
I don't know. Probably
Find out.
lack of oxygen.
Find out on that episode. What is today's topic at hand?
I think it's going to be about disaster movies. What are we going to title it? If we were in a disaster movie?
If we were in a disaster movie.
Okay.
So, Jenny,
Yes.
if you were in a disaster movie,
Uh-huh.
what would be your disaster movie?
I'd be dead. I'd be the first one to go.
All right, well, that's our episode, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I know it was a quick one, only a minute long. Thankfully, not that much editing to do, but...
Shut up. No, seriously. Well, disaster and horror movies are not considered the same, correct? Disaster is more like apocalyptic, like the world's ending and nothing's normal anymore. Or horror movie is more like, what, blood and gore and all that
And
stuff?
ghosts and your worst fears coming alive.
Because I've told you this before, but I was voted the last friend to survive in a horror film.
But
Disaster.
this ain't a horror film.
Yeah, disaster.
But it's still the same in a
It's the
concept
same
that you're running
concept.
away from danger.
Yeah.
Yeah, because disaster movie is like San Andreas, 2012, when 2012 was supposed to end back in the day.
Yeah.
I know you're like 6 at the time. So.
Oh my. Okay.
But movies like that, while horror is like, The Shining, The Exorcist, Psycho.
Yeah, I like just kind of more so people going crazy than the whole world is ending thing. Yeah. Yeah.
So what would be your disaster movie if you were in one?
When I think of disaster movies, I think mostly like zombie stuff. Like the world's ending because it's overtaken by zombies.
What kind of zombies? Last of Us zombies or
No, not those.
zombies?
I wouldn't be starring in that film. Like I said, I'd be DED. Maybe The Walking Dead when they're like really, really, really slow.
That's our dog, Mido. Our dogs will make it too. Oh no, he's ready to PLAY. Even though we did that with him earlier, you know what? This is a disaster. A disaster podcast for a disaster movie.
I know this is the worst time we could be squeaking a toy right now.
All right.
So zombies.
So,
stuff.
yes. What kind of zombies? Last of Us 2 zombies or The Walking Dead zombies? Or
So I haven't seen enough zombie things other than that, to be honest.
28 Days Later?
I don't like scary movies or anything of the sorts.
Yeah, you can't even finish The Last of Us, the video game.
It's too scary. But I think the outbreak would be more like something like The Last of Us that like could actually happen and makes a little bit more sense. But in a perfect world, at least make them slow like the Walking Dead zombies and not chasing me down and stuff. And so...
I mean, they're still going to be chasing you down. I mean,
but like they're like stumbling. They're not like running full speed. That's too scary. I don't want to play that game.
I would say The Last of Us a little more realistic zombie-wise.
It's probably more realistic, but I don't want to think about that. This is a movie.
Yeah,
There's a movie I'm making where people actually have a chance at survival. And I'll be making it to the end.
Which is what?
What do you mean?
What is the end? Like, you just find a little
I
cove?
survive. I find love and survive.
Am I dead?
I mean, maybe. You died and I have to find a woman. It's actually a queer film.
Nice.
Disguised as a disaster zombie movie. It's like those...
Actually, it's a metaphor for all the heterosexual men coming after you.
No, it'll be like those movies that they've been releasing that are actually musicals, but they hide the fact that they're musicals. I'll advertise it as a zombie movie, and then it'll just be a queer romance.
Amelia Perez?
No. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen that, but I don't think I want to watch it.
To zombie to human.
See, there we go. We got a song already. Let's make this a queer musical disaster
Talking
film.
normal to...
Oh my god.
But that's an interesting movie.
I just came up with that just now.
On the spot? Johnny on the spot?
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Or like Cabin in the Woods. Can we just make a sequel to that where it's like
That's not a disaster movie. That's a horror movie.
Well, it's all the same thing. It's scary. What are some other disaster movies?
Scary.
Yes, they are, because you're in disaster. What are some other ones?
Like I said.
That I've actually seen.
I don't know what you've seen.
Yes, you do.
How about...
See, I can't think of any. All I can think of is like horror movies.
Yeah, zombie movies, yeah.
And zombie TV shows.
What about, The Happening?
What was that?
Isn't that the one where like the plants are making people suicidal? It's by the homie that directs in PA. M. Night Shyamalan.
That doesn't sound like a movie that I would want to watch.
Well, then you can't base your basis off anything because you haven't seen one. How about TV show? Game of Thrones is disaster.
That's not, no.
Okay.
Game of Thrones does not fall in the disaster movie category. So since I haven't seen a movie ever in my life, what would your disaster movie be since you're more experienced in the genre?
My disaster movie would be a world without sports. And food is like in Snowpiercer. Roaches crumbled into protein tasteless bars.
Is that a disaster movie, Snowpiercer?
I think so, yeah.
I'm gonna say I've seen that.
It's kind of like a disaster movie. Disaster in the way that the world's like done and they're in a train and whatever.
Okay.
Ooh, you know it could be technically a disaster movie?
Even though all the protein powders are like mushed up bugs, but yes.
Yeah, you know it could technically be considered a disaster movie?
What?
WALL-E.
Oh, yeah. I guess technically speaking, yeah.
That is a disaster
I mean, that's where
movie.
we're headed. We're trying to ship people off to space or other planets or whatever. And we're filling the world up with trash and stuff that doesn't biodegrade anymore. So
or quick enough, yeah.
I was going to say, WALL-E's pretty realistic.
WALL-E's very realistic. Especially though how, let's just say, easy it is to move around without having to really move your legs nowadays.
Yeah. I was just going to say, yeah, with the obesity problem in America, we're getting closer and closer to WALL-E. So, yeah.
Because, like, nowadays, not to get on a rant about obesity in America, I'm not the most healthiest
That's
person.
my disaster, is being any bigger than I am.
Jenny's fat.
Technically, yeah, my BMI.
No, you're not. Relax. Chill.
What my BMI says.
Chill. But, I feel like nowadays it's just a lot easier to be lazy because you don't have to go food shopping anymore. You just go and you park and somebody brings out your food.
Yeah, like everything's more convenient, but at the expense of convenience, you're making everyone kind of lazy.
Yeah, and like DoorDash just goes right to your door. So you're not even getting in your car anymore. Actually, they deliver food and food shopping to your house.
Yeah.
You don't have to walk to your car. You just gotta walk down some steps.
You don't have to go anywhere and do anything, really.
No, not really. I mean...
as long as you have the money to chalk up for all that stuff, someone will do it.
Yeah, pretty much. And then, well, that's fine. Let the rich get fat and whatever, and let the poorer, so the poor, be healthy and more fit. Only thing that problem is...
well, that's how it used to be, however many hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, I mean... the only problem is at the end of the day, we're still eating very bad food for us compared to them.
Oh, yeah, the food in America is also garbage.
Horrendous.
More disaster movies.
I mean, we're living in a disaster movie at the moment. We're
getting there, yeah.
Yeah, America pretty much is becoming a disaster movie, no offense. And I would say my disaster movie, in all seriousness, I mean, technically for me personally,
without
would be
sports,
and,
blah, blah, blah.
But it would be where we get into a bad war and they nuke most of the world.
Yeah.
And there's like Fallout. Fallout's a disaster movie.
Yeah.
And
TV show,
game,
but yes.
Game first.
Yeah.
And then, So that would be my disaster movie. Kind of like the world's nuked Chernobyl kind of situation.
Yeah.
Where you have to wear like suits outside to like breathe.
Yeah.
And because the air is toxic and whatever. So, I mean, that could be very... I don't know how realistic that would be, because why would... But, I mean, we do
the whole world? I feel like that would be... I mean, we're getting there, don't get me wrong, but the whole world, that might be pushing it.
Okay, yeah, but America, at least, where we are, our home, and whatever. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah. So that would suck.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I was going to say something.
That would suck.
Yeah, well, I mean, we kind of already, not us personally, but we see there has been people that have lived the disaster movie that I just said. Mm-hmm. In Russia with Chernobyl, and Japan with Nagasaki, and the other place.
Like Palestine right now?
Yeah, Palestine's kind of disastrous, but I'm thinking the other one in Japan. It's Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, so it's happened. Mm-hmm. But it wouldn't happen to the whole world.
No.
Not quite yet.
No, yeah. And, like, places like Chernobyl still slowly recovering. Like, there's still places in Chernobyl that you cannot visit. And
I was going to say, aren't there abandoned cities in America, too? Mm-hmm. From, like...
radiation leakage and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, explosions and all that stuff.
And it's really sad. It's really scary. Because, like... I mean, we deal with radiation every day, but to that extent, no. Mm-hmm. So then, if you were to write a disaster movie, what disaster movie would you write? Because I don't think you'd want to do zombies.
Yeah, I don't know how to write zombies. Hold on, I'm thinking. Because you're putting me on the spot here.
You know what else is another disaster movie? Any movie with aliens, like Independence Day.
I don't care about aliens.
My bad. Sorry, the extraterrestrial.
No, mine would just be like if, let's say, so with the state of America right now, there was actually some kind of rebellion or something. And then, like, think about the everyday things that we do and have to do. Like, if we just, like, Miss Peaches, she's trying to get a bug. She won't stop meowing. All right, back to the question. Ask the question again.
Well, could you say that the movie that you're thinking about, that you had an idea for, is somewhat a disaster movie or not?
What?
The one with men and women get separated and...
Oh, yeah. Shh. Copyright. We can't share just yet. But, yeah, that would kind of be disaster-ish. Like, but that's also just kind of like alternate reality-ish. So that's kind of what I was thinking for this, like a disaster movie. Like, think about all the stupid things that we have to do, like go to work and pay taxes and, I don't know, go grocery shopping and go to school or whatever it is. Like, all this stupid stuff that, like, if we just existed and, like, hunted and gardened for food and like
defended ourselves,
I guess. Yeah, just existed. It would be kind of something like that.
But what would cause it?
I don't know. That's for you to figure out, Nicholas.
So for me, my disaster movie would be kind of like the Terminator, where the AI and the one with Will Smith, I Am Robot, or Blade Runner with the replicants, and whatever, where they kind of, mix in with society. Westworld, if you watch Westworld, great show for the most part until the end, where these robots kind of blend into society and slowly kill off the human race, and then, the world slowly comes to a... Well, I don't know what the world would become, but it's a disaster to the human race. Maybe not so much the world.
You just gave me an idea for another movie.
Oh, snap. There's a lot of great animes that have to do with disasters.
Yeah.
So there's this one anime, I forget what the name of it's called right now, but the robots did eliminate 99% of the humans. But then, in time, they suffer from like a rust, like they get rusty, and that's like their plague or whatever. And they see that disease, so they're kind of living their own dystopia. And like it's not as vibrant. It's kind of like the end of the robot era because of the rust problem. But there is a human child that is born in it, and like it's a pretty good show. I forget what it's called at the moment. It's like based off an old show, and then like this is like one of the newer adaptations that was released in like the early 2000s, and yada yada yada. But I thought that was pretty cool because it had a very serious undertone with like robots dealing with death, something that they're not used to or accustomed to. What about disaster movie with giant spiders and centipedes?
Didn't they make that?
Yeah, they did.
Isn't that a thing?
It is.
Yeah.
Well, giant spiders is. But the giant centipedes I got from Planet of the Apes when I went to the island. Ooh, I got a disaster movie. Massive tornadoes with kittens. Cat-nados.
See, I heard they did one very similar to that already.
But this is for cute little cuddly cats and their claws out.
What do you mean? That sounds like a dream come true.
Yeah, being shredded to pieces. Alright, so we're going to move on from disaster movies per se, but how about disaster dates? Now, this...
That's your transition.
That is my transition. Now, this is a topic that I know you were very eager to talk about. Throw some people out there. Unnamed, of course.
I can only think of one. Like, if we're talking, like, the worst by far, I can only think of one.
So, what is your disaster date?
So, oh my gosh, how old was I? I had to be, like, 16.
Oh, young.
Maybe 17.
Oh, younger.
What? Yeah, I think I was, like, 16. Anywho's. So, I was talking to this guy, I would say, like, distant friends of my cousins, friends of friends, whatever you want to call it, like...
But not related.
What do you mean?
Blood related.
To who?
Your family.
No.
That's what it is?
It's friends of my cousins, you weirdo. Not cousins of my cousins.
That's one. Might as well make it clear.
Oh my gosh. Anywho's, we went to school with my cousin, so I'd seen him in passing. We weren't like super close, but we talked every now and then, yada yada. Anywho's. So eventually, we go on a date. Circa, again, 2015, 16, whatever year it was, 1930s.
Oh my god.
No. And so we go to Fuji, R.I.P., the old hibachi place in the mall. And everything's chill. We're chilling. He pays, I think. Who knows? And then, I don't even know what we were going to do after that. Maybe see a movie or something. I don't remember. So we're driving down Donald Lane. So, like, you're leaving the mall, and then you turn right, and then you go down that hill past, like, UPS, and that bank's on the right, and then you're at the stoplight at Walmart.
So the Richland movie theaters?
Yeah, so, like, pretend you're going to the mall, down the road, like, you're going to the theaters. You're going to the Walmart Plaza.
The light?
Past Gallagher's, past UPS.
Oh, that's called Donald Lane?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The more you know, roads in Johnstown. But so we're going down there, and it's raining, and he's going too fast.
Oh, is this the one where he got into an accident?
Yeah, he got... See, I knew I told you this story. He got into a car accident, like, just because he was going too fast, and it was raining. And down the hill on a curve, ran into the guardrail at the bank. And then we called 911, whatever. It wasn't really emergency, he just, wrecked his car, but whatever. And then...
Like non-drivable wreck, or...?
No, so, the front of his car was, like, trapped, and he couldn't get it out, so whoever showed up, the cop, the tow truck, because I think he was trying to get it towed, like, did back it up. It's just, like, basically the whole front part of his car had, like, fallen off. Like, it was just kind of it was kind of dragging along, but I guess it was still drivable. Maybe he ripped it off and it was still drivable. So I don't think we saw a movie, or maybe we saw a movie before. But anyways, we went to dinner. Some reason we're driving down the road and he wrecks his car, and for, like, literally no reason.
Because you want to show off and be cool.
He's going too damn fast.
He knows chicks like guys that drive fast.
I don't. And then he tried to park with me later and get some, and I was like, "Sir, are you okay? You just wrecked your car." Like, I was like, "What is going on?"
Guys don't care.
I know, and I'm like, I get it. Like, I get it. Trust me, I get it. But, like, you wrecked your car. Like, what are you thinking? But
How old is he?
I don't know, like a year or two older than me.
He wasn't thinking. That's the thing. His blood wasn't in his head.
Oh my gosh. This is why we just don't date little boys. 18, 19, maybe when they're like in their 20s or 30s they finally mature. I don't know yet, but
Was he part of the football team or something? Was he an athlete?
no, he wasn't anyone like interesting or intimidating.
Wow.
I think he was like a Satanist, low-key.
Wow.
He's definitely at least an atheist, but he also might have been a Satanist on the low.
He would have sacrificed you, bro.
Okay, he wasn't like that, but like he was like he was trying to be edgy, you know what I mean? Like he thought he was
emo.
edgy. Yeah. He was definitely trying to be emo.
He's trying to date an emo boy.
But he didn't have like eyeliner or anything cool, so it was like a fake emo.
Oh, eyeliner's cool on
Yeah,
guys?
yeah. Sorry, Nicholas.
Are you putting no eyeliner on me?
I guess you're not my type then. JK, I have different types, but
What?
anywho.
I thought you were at your skinny emo boy phase.
You know what? You might be right. After that date, I was definitely out of my skinny emo boy phase. But yeah, that was a very interesting experience.
Did you ever see him again?
I don't think so. Because I had ended up telling that story to the guy I dated afterwards, and he was like, "Yo, this guy's not your friend. Like, that dude's actually kind of an asshole." And I was like, "What?" Because I thought we were friends, and I tried to move past it, and now I look at it, I'm like, what is wrong with that guy?
Why? What did you do? What did he do? Like, did he just try and consistently?
He was trying to pressure me into doing stuff, and I kept saying no. Like, I don't know if you know this, but no means no. Like,
Yeah.
Like,
Well, he's a Satanist.
if it's not an enthusiastic yes, it's a no, and he just kept trying, so...
Yeah, what do you expect? The dude's a Satanist.
Yeah, well...
Satanists are crazy
boys
people.
will be boys, and they will pressure young girls into things that they're not comfortable with, but he failed, so...
Yeah. 0-1 for the Satanist.
Anyways, that's by far my worst date, so... I also don't go on many dates, because I'm engaged now, so...
His loss.
I mean, it was an experience. It could have gone worse. Could have
Could have got hurt. So, alright, that is an actual first date. What would be a hypothetical worst date of your life?
I mean, there's been a few that I've seen on TikTok, like, if it's, like, one of those red pill, like, incel guys that, like, thinks he's better than you, or, like, one of the guys that thinks that you owe them something or something like that. I can see that being pretty bad.
Yeah.
A guy who refuses to pay. I'm all for, like, you know this, because the first time we hung out, I paid my half and whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's fine if you want to split, but... if you're the person asking on the date, you should assume that you're the one paying. The person who asks typically pays.
But women don't usually ask guys out for dates.
Because guys don't usually pay. Or guys do usually pay, sorry. You know what I mean?
Well, you know.
Most heterosexual people, when they go on a first date, the guy usually pays.
Yeah, that's fine.
And that's why the guy's usually asking, because the guy's usually paying.
Yeah.
That's the society we live in.
Yeah.
So, if a guy or any person asked me on a date and then expected me to foot the entire bill, I would be a bit off put by that. I'd be like, what do you mean? You asked me.
Well, would you ever, if you never knew me, would you ever ask somebody out on a date? Or are you just the pursued type, not the pursuer?
I am the pursued. Let me tell you. That's why I've dated so many questionable people, because everyone pursues me and I'm just like, sure.
Oh my God.
Because you like me and nobody likes me. And I was like, yeah.
Well,
how could it go worse though? If he got violent, like I've heard stories of people getting like a little too, like even pushier than my experience, and like.
Well, he could have, you know.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it could have gone like very bad. I could have been in a lot more danger than I was. Yeah. I didn't get abused or assaulted, or like I survived the experience. Yeah. Even though he wasn't in a car accident, it wasn't like. It was on purpose, ended up with me in the hospital or anything. So I would say that's some of the ways it could have made that worse.
Yeah, true. It's so weird how worst dates are different from like a guy's and a woman's perspective.
Well, I was gonna say, what would your worst date?
Yeah, 'cause I don't know. I haven't had bad dates. I just had awkwardness after dates.
What do you mean after?
Like
she saw you and was like, nah.
Yeah, we had the date, we had the whole thing, and then like the one chick was like, actually, you know what? Yeah, I just wasn't feeling it or whatever. But like she kind of said that like right afterwards.
Like immediately after?
Yeah. So then I made her pay her half. I said, yeah, so you're
okay, if you're not feeling it, you send that in the text after. Be like, hey, I've been thinking about our date. And it went really well, but like I just don't think we're a match. Like, don't say it while you're still on the date.
Yeah, like I dropped her back off from the community college that we're going to. And yeah, I was like, yeah, so give me back like $34.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. Hey, man.
You're wildin', bro.
I'm not wildin', but like, bro, if you're gonna just... Because I don't want to be that guy where chicks go on a date, but then they're just looking for a free meal or whatever.
I mean, that's true. I should have done that.
Like,
you're giving me these tips way too late.
Like, I didn't make her pay for the whole thing. I said, hey, yeah, your stuff costs this much. Like, just give
my
money
back. God.
I had the receipts. So.
You're the worst. Well, how I will say, since we're shifting topics around... How did you feel when we hung out for the first time and you paid for food and then I paid for the games? Were you like shocked by that, or were you like, okay, cool, this chick's dope?
I was just like, all right, cool.
That's good
it?
To me.
Yeah, I wasn't like shocked.
So you weren't shocked?
No.
What if I would have expected you to pay? Would you have been annoyed?
Yeah, because at first it wasn't technically a date. If it was a date, I would have paid for it.
Well, that's why I paid, because like I have this anxiety with men and the expectations and all that stuff. So it's like, of course I'm gonna pay, so he doesn't expect anything from me.
I don't expect anything from anybody on a first date or even a second date. I'm usually a third date kind of person.
Okay, but some men are very, very pushy and aggressive and stuff. Yeah. So, like, I have this fear, and so that's why I was like, okay, like, I'll pay my half because I don't need you to friggin' walk me onto my car and whatever, so...
Yeah, so that's why I wasn't shocked, because our first date, technically, at the time, wasn't a date.
It was a hangout.
It was
only a date because we...
Slowly started dating.
We ended up dating. That's the only reason, but yeah.
And so, like...
I wasn't trying to date, but then I was like, he kind of cute, though. He actually funny.
I was like, she's beautiful, but she probably won't go for a guy like me, and I want a friend. So.
What's a guy like you?
I don't know. Like I said, I don't have high confidence. Low self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was like, she probably got, like, these jack dudes with, like, money all over her. And then I found out...
I couldn't be so lucky.
No, well, yeah, but then I found very...
My backstory?
No.
You were like, oh, no, great heavens.
No, I found who the other guy was that was pursuing you, and I was just laughing.
Oh, no. Oh, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, there's always men pursuing me, and then eventually I grew up and learned to only pursue those that are worth pursuing.
They're above 5'11".
Oh my god. We love a short king, okay? I just typically don't date those. That was another date I went on. Oh my gosh! Now that you bring that up, so like I'm pretty sure I've only gone on maybe one or two like Tinder online dating dates in college, because I was typically unfortunately always in a relationship in college.
But not the best people.
Well, well, yes, but then these dates were just as bad. So one of them, this guy was short, which is like fine, but like. Address it on your profile. Like if you have anything that's like outside of the norm, I feel like you should address that straight up. And here's the thing, I don't care. It was just like unexpected. The bad part of the date was when we went to go eat somewhere, we got chicken wings. I think it was Tommy Boy's. Do you want to know how many chicken wings he ordered me?
4?
5.
That's not even half a dozen.
It's like, what? So yeah, so that was like probably the first and last like online date I went on, because why did you buy me 5 wings? Like that's not even worth the free meal, like you were saying. Like
no,
what?
I think it's funny. The only online date I went on from Tinder and whatnot, we actually dated for a little bit after that, but she got a little crazy, and I moved to Florida.
Sometimes you just gotta move away, man.
Yeah. I would say another bad date I had, I feel like this chick was kind of the male version of what you were saying. She wasn't really, like, pushy, but she was really pushy on me, like, opening up and trying to find like this deep conversation.
She was like trying to get more information. She was ready for the trauma dump. Do you think she was like an undercover therapist or something that someone sent after you?
I'm just like, bro, relax. And she like patted my head, and I was like, are you belittling me right now? And,
oh my gosh.
But I went on another date with her.
I'm trying to think. I've gone on pity dates, but not like trying to be a date. That's why like I paid, because like just because I'm hanging out with someone one-on-one doesn't mean I want to be with you like that.
So I think it's funny, like with men, they might not fully want to date the person, or maybe they didn't have a good dating experience.
Well, yeah, they just want that booty.
But they'll go on another date. While women, like, because you don't need to, you get enough attention, women, that you don't have to go on another date with a dude, while guys are like, well, I don't know, next time I'm going to be able to get on a date.
So you just go on dates with people you didn't even enjoy the presence of?
Yeah.
I've never done that, but I've hung out with dudes who thought it was a date, and I was like, when was that addressed?
I haven't either, thankfully. But there are a lot of guys that probably would. And then that's why you have a lot of unhappy marriages and divorce rates very high.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's just like people settle, or they're uncomfortable, or they're people pleasers or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, couldn't be me. I did that for like, almost the first 20 years of my life, basically. I got over it. So. I
never settled. That's the thing. I never just like...
I know, your standards are so high. That's why you hardly dated anyone. Because you were like, I need a 10. Get me a 10. Oh my gosh.
But, yeah, I mean, I knew what I liked and I knew what I didn't like. And I wasn't gonna... my first... I wasn't even like a real relationship, a girlfriend. It wasn't even like a real girlfriend, kind of.
It's okay, I've never had a real girlfriend either, so...
Good. Didn't go so well for mostly me. But if I'm thinking now, seeing who I have now as a fiance, that would have went anywhere. That would definitely wouldn't settle. But for me, my worst date is just where I wouldn't be clicking with the other person. Like maybe I would say something and they wouldn't get my humor, and they would just get offended so easily or triggered, and I can't.
I mean, I've definitely had those uncomfortable instances. Nothing too bad though. I mean, it's like it's painful for like an hour or two maybe, and then it's like, well, I'm never gonna see you again. Yeah,
pretty much. But that's like, for me, that's like the worst date is like just not clicking.
Well, it must be nice, because I know what a woman's worst fear on a date is.
My fear for a worst date could be different than another man's.
Yeah.
I mean, I could date a chick. My fear for a first date could be I date a chick and I'm not feeling it, but then she stalks me and gets,
yeah, that's
overly
possible.
whatever.
Some people are like that, that one show on Netflix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or Facebook stalks me, Instagram stalks me, whatever. I mean, that could be. I mean, you got that too, and gets jealous that I start talking to other women. I'm just like, I want
that one chick did though.
Who?
Whoever you were talking to before me, she was still hitting you up. She was texting.
She was. Yeah, it's funny because she's the one that ended that too. So.
They just can't let go. I know her loss. That's so funny. She was like, "Hey, I miss him. I made a mistake."
She's like, "I wish I had that."
Stop.
Yeah,
you could have had that.
Yeah, I'm like, you're lost, chief. But I'm not. I don't think I'm that type of person to have a stalker. So I don't worry about that.
I'll stalk you.
That's fine.
That's basically how my last relationship was.
You stalked them?
No. He quote unquote stalked me throughout elementary school.
Oh yeah, your mother said that.
My mom said that.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't wrong. He walked past my house, but.
Yeah. I remember.
As much stalking as a young child can do, but yeah.
But then he eventually moved on. So, I mean, that is I don't know what else. Maybe the chick, like I said, rides up the bill and then expects me to pay for it all. Where she gets, the most expensive item.
Well, that's just, disrespectful. That's not something I would do with anyone if there's any chance of anyone else paying.
I'm not going to force myself on somebody. I'm just saying, worst date scenarios in my head would be, some chick getting a steak and lobster.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that.
I remember when I saw
even if my mom was paying, I wouldn't get the most expensive thing on the menu.
Yeah, you don't. Unless it's my dad.
It's disrespectful. Oh my gosh.
But I remember I saw a video on social media where one dude was like, hey, you took her on a date and she started ordering for her 2 kids. And he's like, what need all that food for? And she's like, oh, I'm feeding it for my kids.
That's why.
I'm not paying for that. She's like, what do you mean you're not paying for that? If you want to get with me, you gotta be able to feed my kids too, or whatever.
That's crazy.
He's just like, oh, see ya.
That's one thing. I'm fortunate that we met as young as we did because I couldn't imagine being in my 30s or 40s and then having to date people with kids and then them doing crazy stuff like that.
Also, this might sound shallow, but I don't give a frick. If you look a certain way in your photos and you are fugly when you get on the date.
What do you mean?
Like
you're not a fan or you don't care?
No, like if you look a certain way in your photos and then you don't look like that.
Yeah.
When you come on the date.
Yeah.
I'm not for that. No, that's a horrible. That's a worst date for me.
That is catfishing, by definition.
Yeah, or let's just say somebody put up pictures of when they're skinny, and then they come in 300 pounds, and you're just
yeah. Well, that's why I don't know about men, but women are very specific on dating apps because your profile, typically, not really with men, but it's supposed to be the best version of yourself. Guys are usually kind of lazy with their profiles, but I can expect women to be more disappointing because they are posting their best pictures on that app.
But the thing is, I think that's dumb. I feel like you should post the most realistic. Because I'm not...
Okay, did I swipe on your Hinge?
No, you didn't.
Because they were not good pictures of you and you're way more beautiful in real life.
That's fine. I'd rather have somebody be attracted to me when I'm not at my best than only be attracted to me when I'm at my best.
Well, now I'm attracted to you all the time.
Yeah.
But your profile sucked.
Hey, that's fine. Again, I'd rather know what I'm getting when I see somebody in person for the first time versus they looked good 10 years ago in this one picture.
Okay, 10 years ago is a bit of a stretch. If you're using photos that are 10 years old, you should...
Or, okay, you put, video pictures of, I think it should be pictures from within 6 months.
Typically, in a perfect world, yeah.
Yeah.
Which sucks and is super shallow to say, but that's all dating apps are, is you have to look your best, but also be realistic about what you look like.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but if you're skinny in the post, then come on, you're a whale. I don't know who Nick is. It's not me. I'm looking for this person.
my gosh. Me swiping on your Hinge.
Yeah.
Oh, he's cute. Oh, no, he's a whale. Skip.
That's a whale sound. It's from the best of the Nemo movies, Finding Nemo.
You mean Finding Dory?
We'll get to that.
Another episode.
So, yeah, that'd be a worst date. Would be like not looking like, if we were to meet online, not looking like your profile pic.
What if they were better looking than their pics?
And that's a positive.
Okay.
Hey.
You're so shallow, Nicholas.
That's fine. I don't care. I'm being real.
I mean, that's kind of how we were, because you saw that picture of me, and then you saw me, you're like, oh my gosh, you look way better than that picture.
Yeah, that was not good pictures.
I don't even think I look that bad. That looks like me.
No, I got too caught up in the
hat.
In the Zelda
you didn't
hat.
like my Zelda hat.
Yeah.
This is a guy with an anime tattoo. Grow up, Nicholas.
No, okay.
Grow up.
That's fine. Anime tattoos, badass. People that wear Zelda hats and video game hats usually come with stinks.
Says the person who used to work at FYE and Spencer.
Exactly. I saw the people that wore their hat. They were bigger. They stinked. And so, like, because I don't know many, like, people that would rock. A tattoo is one thing, because you can make it look cool, art.
I know. Instead of the hat, I should have just flexed my tattoos on you. You're like, yeah, she's sexy.
Like, no offense, but like anybody that wears like a fitted hat or a snapback hat that's anime would not date somebody that does that.
Well, I have that hat still somewhere, and I'm gonna find it, and I'm gonna wear it. Just because you hate it so much. What wedding? Anyways.
That just perceived PTSD. Trauma.
Were you shocked when you met me and I didn't stink?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then when we did hang out in person, so these are the 4 interactions, not really interactions with you, but instances I saw you. First one was the Zelda hat picture. Mm-hmm. The second one was when I was like, oh wow, she's actually very beautiful, was the one in the Johnstown magazine. Mm-hmm. Then the third instance was Halloween. I was like, oh wow, she is very
when we
beautiful.
met in person.
And you were drunk, but you're also the chick.
I don't think I was drunk when I met you. I was just drunk by the end of the night.
Yeah.
And then I was like, where'd the cute guy go?
Yeah,
he disappeared.
And I was like, where did Jenny and them go? Oh, they left. It didn't say anything to me, so I'm just at a party by myself.
Okay.
With people I barely knew.
We literally left. Okay, so I was intoxicated, clearly. And then two of the girls I was with were bawling their eyes out because their ex-boyfriends were also at the party. Okay, I didn't sign up for that.
I know.
I should have been like, hey, Nicholas, you're cute. You want to get us out of here? Like,
I didn't sign up for that either. That's why I was bouncing around.
I know. You still do that to this day. You just bounce around and start yapping with everybody.
Exactly, because I'm the cool. I want to feel like the popular guy.
Yeah, right.
Frank and Billy were there. I hung out with them for a little bit. This one guy that used to go to the gym I saw a lot, Nate, he was there. I hung out. I talked to him a couple of times.
I know, there's a bunch of people there.
Yeah.
I miss those Halloween parties. Let's have our own.
We should. We have no friends.
That's true.
The next instance, I saw you at the gym, but you were just wearing gym attire, and you were working out with Catherine. And then the instance after that, when we hung out for the first time, you wore...
Our first date that wasn't a date because there was no intentions.
You wore a leather jacket. Uh-huh. You wore...
I think it's cute you remember what I was wearing.
Yeah, you wore the fake snake boots. Mm-hmm. You wore the cargo pants. Mm-hmm. And I think you wore that black and velvet...
It's like a tie-dye
shirt, yeah. Your hair is redder. And you wore a choker.
Redder? Oh,
Rudders.
Yeah.
And you wore a choker. And I was like, ooh, okay. Is she like a motorcycle chick or something? What's going on? And
do I look like...
You did with the leather jacket. I'm not going to assume. And the boots. Leather jacket and boots. You think lesbian and motorcycle chick.
I'm one of those things.
Excuse me? You're half of those things.
Yes.
And then I saw that you drove a Chevy
Equinox.
Equinox, yeah. I was like, oh, does she have a family? No, I was joking. Does she have a kid? She sends us mixed signals here. No, I was joking.
And then on the next date, I had to pick you up because somebody wrecked their car.
I hit it. A deer jumped in front of me because that one friend that was bawling her eyes out because she thought she saw their ex there made me drive to Wimber at midnight to stalk her ex.
Speaking of stalking. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And I hit a deer.
Yeah.
Now that would be actually a worse date. If you go on a date with somebody and only thing they talk about is their ex and then start crying over him.
I don't think I've done that.
I'm not saying you.
No, but that is the worst. That's pretty bad.
That is horrible. It's like, why am I even here? I would just leave. Have fun.
I would be like, it seems like you're going through something. I don't think this is going to work.
I would honestly probably get pissed and I'd order the most expensive meal, eat it, and leave.
A dine and dash, baby.
She can pay for this.
That's awful. I would cry more. Okay, they're just going through something.
And they're using me?
Yeah. Listen, some people think they're ready to date and they're not.
No, I wouldn't do that. I would feel so bad afterwards. I believe in karma and karma would
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you did come with children.
Yeah. 1.
2.
Doggy of divorce. A cat from when I was a teenager and then abandoned at my mom's house when I went to college.
But it worked out because you're my other half. Mm-hmm. And we get along, and you, for some reason, love my humor. I don't understand why.
I don't understand your humor at all, so I don't know what you're talking about.
You laugh at my humor all the time.
You laugh at yours. You laugh at your own jokes.
Well, yeah, if you can't laugh at yourself, then how can you laugh at other people?
You shouldn't be laughing at anyone. That's judgmental.
But that was the first episode where we went from disaster movies to disaster dates. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed not our first episode, but one of our newer episodes for the new podcast.
Surprise! This is the first one we filmed / voice recorded because we're not on camera right now.
Shh. We hope you tune in. We hope you enjoy the banter between me and Jenny. Let us know about some of your disaster movies. Let us know about some of your disaster dates that you've been on. Have you experienced anything that we've talked about? And as always, like, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you very much for tuning in. Have a good day. I'm Nick.
I'm Jenny.
And
we have nothing to say.
We had nothing to say.